Pay attention to your right hand and observe your second and fourth fingers. Now, what can you notice? Which appears longer, the index or the ring finger? Or maybe it's reversed. Or perhaps they look almost identical in size. This is what we call the 2D to 4D digital ratio. And today, I'm going to explain how, because of this, you can actually know whether you have a large penis or not. Welcome. I'm Dr. Girag Mihai, and if this happens to be your first time on my channel, I discuss intimate, reproductive, and urological health. So, if you're curious, keep watching closely. Before we dive deeper, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss facts that can actually help your private health. Now, why did I tell you to check the fingers of your right hand? That's because this very hand reveals how much we were exposed to hormonal levels, androgens and estrogens, while we were inside our mother's womb. In simple terms, the index finger carries more estrogen receptors, while the ring finger holds more testosterone receptors. Therefore, when we were still in our mother's womb, if we experienced stronger testosterone exposure between the 10th and 15th week of pregnancy, our ring finger typically becomes longer. But if estrogen exposure was greater, then our index finger ends up longer than the ring finger. This can differ slightly between men and women, but generally, the 2D or 4D digital ratio shows that, depending on how much estrogen and testosterone we had, one finger tends to grow more than the other, along with certain traits that often reflect that balance. So when we have a low 2D to 4D digital ratio, what that's indicating is that the ring finger is longer than the index finger. Because if we take an average, where the normal equals 1, dividing the length of the index finger by the ring finger gives a result lower than 1. That means the ratio is low, and that the testosterone levels we were exposed to were much higher. Otherwise, if the index finger is longer and we divide it by the ring finger, the outcome will be greater than 1. In this situation, it means the ratio is high and the testosterone levels we encountered were much lower. This suggests that men with a low digital ratio, since they possess higher testosterone levels, usually have a larger penis. Let's remember, this observation has already been documented before. Several studies have explored it, including one done in Korea, where multiple men scheduled for urological surgery were examined. Before their operations, researchers measured both their penis size, in the flaccid and erect state, as well as their index and ring fingers. They discovered that those with lower digital ratios, that is, longer ring fingers, had noticeably greater length compared with men who didn't share that measurement pattern. In other words, this could somewhat confirm the situation, but that's not everything. If you believe in what science says here, or just find it fascinating, type bold in the comments. Let's see how many bold men we've got watching today. Now, moving on. Research has also revealed that this kind of men usually achieve better development across their lifetime, particularly in business, music, the arts, and activities like sports. Because they were exposed to high amounts of testosterone, it helps strengthen neural connections, making them more successful in what they decide to pursue. That's why they often take bigger risks, especially throughout their years. However, that's not the whole story. They also face a greater chance of cardiovascular diseases, prostate cancer, and are typically more aggressive. Another thing worth noting is that they generally lean more toward polygamy or being unfaithful. Now, I understand that by this point, many men who notice their index finger is longer than their ring finger, or about the same size, might feel slightly disappointed, or perhaps annoyed by what I've said so far. But don't be surprised, and please don't worry. On the contrary, stay calm. It's been noticed that even if you experienced high testosterone exposure while in the womb or during the fetal stage, that's not the only testosterone spike in your lifetime. You'll also experience a major surge during puberty, which deeply influences the development of male sexual characteristics, such as the penis, testicles, pubic hair growth, voice deepening, and greater muscle mass. So even if your prenatal testosterone exposure was lower, that doesn't mean the spike occurring during puberty can't help you grow a bit more in that regard. And keep in mind, this balance has also been linked to longer longevity and a reduced likelihood of certain diseases. So truly, it's not all negative. If you're following along, type 1 below and hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Now, I know this information might be a bit hard to digest, so let me show you a few examples of people you might recognize. Finally, even though many women don't usually watch my videos, can start observing the right hands of your partner or potential partners, if you'd like to understand what you might be dealing with before knowing your partner's tool. Remember, this applies to nearly 100% of the population. There are rare exceptions, people who don't show these patterns. If that's you, please mention it in the comments. Also, tell me whether you believe this explanation or not. We can discuss it below. And before finishing, the most important thing is learning how to measure it correctly to see if your assumptions are accurate. So, as you can see, something as simple as the difference between your index and ring finger can reveal fascinating clues about how your body developed. From your hormone balance to certain personality traits and even physical characteristics. But remember, your finger length or digital ratio doesn't define your worth as a man. It's simply one of many biological indicators shaped during fetal development and refined again during puberty. What truly matters is how you use the knowledge to take care of your urological health, strengthen your body, and make smarter lifestyle choices. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep your confidence rooted in knowledge, not myths. I'm Dr. Girag Mihai, and I'll see you in the next video. Gentlemen, if today's video helped you protect your health, your confidence, or your energy, you can now say thanks in a special way. Just click the thanks button below the video. Your support helps me share more tips that keep men strong and healthy well past 60, and I truly appreciate every single one of you.